You are listening to the Lucha Central Podcast Network. And now, luchacentral.com presents Masks, Mats, and Mayhem.
I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
Welcome to another edition of Masks, Mats, and Mayhem. I'm the Outlaw at Justin Harvey 75, and you can find this entire show on social media at MMM Show 75. Was that better, Byron?
That was better than last week.
I did something. I streamlined it a little bit.
Yeah.
Leave us alone.
Practice makes perfect. 192 times, and you'll get it right on the 193rd.
Finally, MMM Show has come back to. Wait, let me not do anything.
Hold on. What's the difference between your radio voice and your stripper DJ voice?
The difference is coming to the stage next. He's a hot fire in the hole. It's at Byron Fever.
Oh, that could have been either of us. Thank you.
I was going to say, right now, it technically applies to me. But
wow.
Wow. I'm a fire in the hole, and Meef has a fire in the hole.
Meef and I determined earlier that I was going to send him some Pepto to England for what was it, 900 quid?
$900. $900. So it's not 900. Yeah,
I thought I clearly put the pound symbol in there.
That changes everything.
Yeah, I mean, I want real money. I'm trying to get like 1,000 US at least.
Oh no, that's about 30.
Like 1,200.
Cover shipping. Don't forget shipping.
Oh God, shipping! Jesus Christ,
that's
a dangerous liquid.
I will overnight you some Mexican Pepto in a heartbeat. Speaking of which, I want to talk about the CMLL guys in AEW. I want to talk about Cody and The Rock and Roman Reigns and Wrestlemania and Seth Rollins, bum, knee, tricep, pec, back, whatever is ailing him. I also would love to talk about a little bit of a couple of women's wrestling things. But first and foremost, because it is in fact Black History Month, we have to talk about our favorite representative of Black history and culture in wrestling. And no, it's not Cody Rhodes, surprisingly. I mean, I know as much as he's an advocate for the people. Look, Cody, I love Cody. Cody is a, what do you call a father of a black child? So he gets in the club because he's father of a black child, right, Byron? Isn't that how it works?
I don't think I can participate in this conversation.
What are you talking? I love Cody. Like, look,
just you are the I've got a black friend Byron refers to.
See,
yeah, but he's only half, so like I can't actually show him.
Yeah, but you can also see he's a Jewish Irishman as well. So
can I tell you that I'm half Jewish on my dad's side, and so like I don't go around claiming to be Jewish, or I don't go around like overstating my claim. On that,
well, I mean, a lot of people could.
But like a friend of mine, I'm not going to name names, but a friend of mine was like texting pictures to a text group that we're in, that he's working on a pinball machine, and like at work, the pinball machine broke because he works at a place with a pinball machine, and I was like, "What's broken about it? It has quarters in it, and you're going to fix it so it doesn't have quarters in it." And then like 2 hours later, he replies, "Nice anti-Semitism," and I'm like, wow. What? He goes, "My dad's Jewish." I'm like, dude.
So's mine. I know I look like a big crazy Scotsman.
And also,
yeah, that's a bit of a stretch too.
Just to point one thing out.
Yeah.
Judaism is a religion.
Correct.
Yes.
Not a race of people.
Yes.
And Semitism is of all people of Arabic countries, etc.
I was just making fun of my friend for being poor and having a bad job and trying to steal money. That's all.
Yeah. Here's why I was mad at Cody though. It wasn't because of this whole thing with The Rock. I was mad when Cody did my NFL show when him and Brandy came on there, because I was like, I want a couple on this show to be representative of diversity, and I want them to look like my parents. And my dad is a very, very white guy. If you guys don't know, my mom is, my dad's a white dude from Lewiston, Maine, and my mom is a poor black child from Birmingham, Alabama. So you have to say it that way, Meefloaf. That's how it's said. It's not descriptive if you don't say it that way. You have to say poor black child from Birmingham, Alabama. That's the technical term. Damn it.
Who you know was obviously caught up in some real shit.
Yeah, my mother's father was killed in a racist bombing, and she was almost the 5th little girl in 4 little girls. But that's a whole other story, and that's legit. That's a shoot. But regardless, I'm so mad because I get Cody and Brandy for my show, and I'm like, yeah, I've got this diversity. These people look like my parents. Come to find out, that motherfucker's Puerto Rican. He's all Latino History Month, man. He ain't no white dude.
That's the end of. Is that the end of the month?
I don't know. When is Puerto Rico History Month? They got a History Month too?
Yeah. It usually clashes with something else, and it's quite funny because it's just like which.
I don't know. Look, my actual point was Swerve Strickland gets my Wrestler of the Week award because of his statements when he came out yesterday. I popped so hard. I don't know if he was in business for himself. It seemed like it.
I mean, does it make
I
a
don't
difference
know that all of those comments were approved, but let's say this about AEW. It's awesome that they don't have writers that really write the shows, because then people like Swerve can go out there and kind of go into business for themselves in a positive way. Like, he wasn't screwing anyone over. He threw props out to the Black history of the business, including some current history. And the 2 names that he threw in there that I thought were amazing and highly appropriate were Ron Simmons, aka Farouk, one of the first Black champion level performers in professional wrestling, and he threw out Athena, who is an unsung hero right now, who has been doing amazing work over on ROH that almost no one has been seeing. And by the way, several people have. Like, as much as you can say ROH is nothing, the Dalton Castle Johnny TV thing that they were doing, amazing. Athena's stuff, amazing. Like, there is some good stuff going on over on that brand that, unless you're in Honor Club, you're just not seeing it. But it doesn't mean that it's not there and it's not good.
Some people are saying Athena, and I mean, I would honestly agree with them. Athena's doing the best work in any women's division under that whole Tony Khan umbrella.
Yeah, and it's there. And Swerve comes out and he gives props to them and really actually addresses Black History Month as it pertains to wrestling. I don't know that has ever been done before. It's not just necessarily about pushing talent. It's about that talent getting to say something. Yeah, during, Latino History Month, Cultural Month.
Which is September the 15th.
Right. They got, it got picked up on a little bit late in AEW. And it was, a lot of the Latino talent got on TV. But that was it. There was no statement about it. There was no statement about what Lucha Libre or the culture of wrestling in Mexican and Latino cultures means to the business. There was no statement about, what it really was about. And it was also a lot of guys jobbing. But, to see Swerve come out there, and believe me, man, when I was down in Jacksonville and a couple of these other shows, Black fans are coming out to see Swerve. He is a draw for an underrepresented, not an unrepresented, but an underrepresented portion of the wrestling community. Like, that's money that's being left on the table without quality Black stars like that. That actually means something. And don't get me wrong, this is not to disparage the Big E's and the Kofi Kingstons of the world, or guys in other smaller promotions like Chris Bay. Like, there are performers out there. But you know what I want to see? I want to see, for Black History Month, Shane Taylor, my boy from Cleveland, STP. I want to see Shane Taylor get a win on Dynamite or Collision. Not Rampage, not ROH. I want to see Shane Taylor get an actual AEW win sometime in the month of February. Can that happen, Tony Khan? I challenge you. Make Black Future. Fuck Black History Month. It's Black Future Month.
He put Taz on commentary and thought he was black, so,
Taz can come to the meetings. Taz can come. As long as he keeps that tan, he can. Now, Hook, he might have to leave Hook at home, but he can come. Poor Hook,
He's got good hair, though. So.
Yeah. So shout out to all those African-American wrestlers out there that have dealt with the crap of this industry to get where they got to in the first place. There is a lot of tongue-in-cheek racism towards Blacks in the wrestling business. It's not all vehement and with a lot of animosity, but there's still a lot of slight inappropriateness out there and whatnot that I know
gimmicks
that these guys
get put into the names of their groups, the kind of general,
Yeah, yeah, and shout out to Lashley and MVP and some of the stuff that they've done in recent years too, that I think has really moved wrestling forward for the Black community to the point where, honestly, it's not even really a deal. It's not, which is great, and that's the way it should be. It's like I shouldn't look at those guys and even have to think about the race. Like they're just good wrestlers or they're not. Like, and wrestling might finally be getting that to there for them. For Latinos, maybe not so much. Where we still got the brown on brown crime going on in WWE, and we have very bizarre things like CMLL guys showing up, and then John Moxley in what I feel like was the softest, most gentle and kind bump over the rail into the stands that John Moxley has ever done. Somehow starts World War III between CMLL and the Blackpool Combat Club. At which point in time, I have to imagine I wish there was a camera that could cut to the back with guys like Daga who have just been sitting around on this per appearance contract, and Kommander and VIkingo, who I think VIkingo's hurt though, but then Penta and Fenix and all the
VIkingo's got another child, I think, at the minute. So.
Like we are right here. I'm right here. I'm right here. Why is Mystico feuding with Claudio? Like, what the fuck?
They can't be on the same TV show though.
Is that what it is? Is there?
There's a thing with the AAA CMLL. Yeah. I don't know what's going on necessarily with the AEW AAA thing now, because obviously I've just gone out that loop. But like,
well, it's weird.
There was the weird thing where originally they banned all their guys, but then Fenix dropped the belt and was like, I think he's done. Taurus, a lot of the guys are now done with AAA, so therefore it's not an issue.
Taurus is going to be someone else when he shows up.
And here's but here's the thing: those guys do still go and work dates for AAA.
Yeah,
they are still loyal to AAA. Most of them, their primary contract is now AEW, and then their secondary contract is AAA. Whereas before it was the reverse of that, where their primary contract was still AAA and they were kind of on loan to AEW. But, from the way I understand it, Dorian and Conan don't really want to hold those guys back. They know that they can make great money in the States working for Tony Khan as their primary boss. And those guys most of them are still very welcome to come to AAA shows. Most of them still do. Most of them are still the stars of AAA. And so it's a weird position for them. And it almost makes you wonder, like, okay, well, Tony, you've got these guys here. And I love the fact that the CMLL guys are coming in. I do think it's a little bit of a slap in the face of some of the AAA guys, though. It's like, Tony, why exactly are you doing this deal? Like, when you've got these top guys, like, are they not top guys to you? Which is part of my complaint. Like, I feel like, especially to Penta and Fenix, it's a little bit of a slap in the face. Like, we're right here, bro. You want great Lucha Libre? We've got it. We've been giving it to you for years.
Yeah.
They're not shiny new toys.
True.
That's the thing. So like Penta and Fenix are day one guys. And, to Tony, CMLL new relationship is a new shiny toy that he'll forget about in 3 weeks' time.
Maybe. Now, that being said, I'm very happy to see. Let's see. So who came in? Dorado Mascara. Mystico.
One of the Mysticos.
Hechicero and
Volador Jr. Yeah.
Volador Jr. Bret Hart. He looks like he's the Mexican Bret Hart. He looks like Mexican Bret Hart. It's amazing.
Well, here's the thing.
There's a picture of him wearing that same WCW white shirt jeans combo, and it's amazing.
I'm glad that Hechicero is the one that got the singles match with Danielson, though. Like, if you're gonna do it, and because for the simple fact that AEW has had plenty of Lucha Libre and great Lucha Libre and great Lucha Libre guys, Hechicero does provide something different. And the fact that he can do technical stuff and chain wrestling and the mat stuff and that style, and that he's a little bit older is great. I can't see that.
That's Volador Jr. dressed as Bret Hart.
Oh my God. Wow.
I'm going to send it to you because it's amazing.
Yeah, like I was happy that it was him and Danielson. Like they had some clunkiness or whatever, where you could tell like they didn't work out that entire match, which is great that they didn't. That's not the way any CMLL performer would do it. They would call it as they go, and especially a guy like Hechicero is going to do a lot of stuff on the fly, especially with the grappling, and it was great. It was a great, fun match. I do think it's funny that they're feuding with BCC, but I get it. I get that Tony can't cross the Luchadors, but it's just like, man, you've got the best from AAA, you've got the best from CMLL under the same roof. Is there not some way that Tony can bend the rules a little bit? And sure, maybe you don't do that on day one. I get it.
I don't think they're even allowed to perform on the same show, let alone obviously not the same match, but I don't think it's the same show. I'm not sure.
He could do it on Rampage. No one would notice.
Maybe. So here's my question for you, Byron.
Yeah.
I know that you went back and you watched the match. I want to know what your thoughts were on it when it wasn't glitching on you. And B, I want to know, why is Blackpool Combat Club still called Blackpool Combat Club when none of them has anything to do with Blackpool?
Well, they have a cool logo and stuff, and they have all the merch. So like, why get rid of it?
It's been a year. We're a year removed from any reason why they should be called Blackpool Combat Club. They couldn't switch it up in that time.
Well, are they going to call it Aberdeen Combat Club?
No, Badass Combat Club or something. They still be BCC. They could come up with some other B.
I don't know. I think I don't know, man. I mean, BCC is also kind of BCC is also close to that other thing. They just might get a kick out of that. I don't know.
No, Byron, the British broadcasting. Jesus Christ.
Well, why don't you ask Mox at the next Cleveland meeting, Ohio meeting?
I mean, I know BCC does really stand for big Caucasian cocks, but it's fine.
It's the British Chambers of Commerce, apparently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I thought the matches were cool. I honestly have not seen a thing of Hechicero. I mostly am familiar with AAA. And I thought that these guys were brought in to AEW to look like superstars, and they got the main event presentation. I mean, a luchador in a mask and a suit is always cool.
Oh, yeah.
With fire rocks and fire juggling and come on.
Entrances were amazing, and then the Rampage match was a good showcase, and they got all the right AEW guys to go in there and help them look good.
I mean, I don't know if they got all the right ones, but Christopher Daniels was a very smart call.
2.0 was, they did all right. There were a couple spots where the guys were waiting on Menard to get placed.
I'm a huge Daddy Magic fan.
Yeah.
I love him on commentary. I wish there was more of a spot for him in AEW commentary in general.
Yeah.
I like them doing the kind of the Jericho thing with him now, where they bring him out, just for certain matches. And the guy is so naturally loud and obnoxious.
Yeah.
What could be more perfect for wrestling than a guy like Daddy Magic Matt Menard? And Cool and Ange has been doing fun stuff with Ruby and this, and Cool and Ange is a good hand, as they say, but more than a good hand. Like he's actually a pretty good wrestler. Again, though, Christopher Daniels being in that match was like some of those moves were not doable without Daniels on the other side, who knows how to work the left side, who knows how to base a little bit too, even though he's not that big. Like he was basing for a lot of moves, and so was Matt Menard to his credit.
I would say I don't remember seeing Fallen Angel move that quickly in like a decade.
He's great now. And this is the thing, and it's a shame that he hasn't been getting used more, because he is in that kind of shape right now. Mm-hmm. Him and Kaz too, who left because they just weren't getting used much anymore. They actually had a decent run at the beginning. Now the thing with Christopher Daniels, and you'll see it when he's running a little bit, is that his lower back was pretty jacked up. You see, he stands kind of a little funny. He hits the ropes with a high back now. He does but he's figured it out. Like he's adapted to where his body's at right now, and the guy can fucking go. I don't even know. I think he's like my age. I don't. Maybe not quite that.
35.
So he's definitely back end of the 90s. He's been wrestling since, hasn't he? So.
Yeah.
But so I thought the tag match was a great showcase. I thought the match with Dragon was really, really good.
Sorcerer versus Dragon.
And like you were saying, like it was a little rough at some spots, but it was good. Like it was good wrestling, and it got over. Like I hope these guys stick around. And Bryan Danielson won with like a flash roll up instead of his finish. Kept Hechicero looking strong. Hechicero, I don't know if he got all of his stuff in, but he got tons of stuff in.
I do question giving D-Bry that win though. Like, doesn't the feud go on a little bit better if he catches the L there? I would have put the loss on Danielson, as much as I know that Tony's doing this thing with the rankings matter and he's got to keep Danielson strong for stuff at the end of the year. But like, he can take one loss.
Yeah.
And I feel like the level of interest in the story, if Danielson takes the loss to Hechicero, is better. And maybe Danielson gives that win back in Arena Mexico or something. It feels like from the Moxley promo that, maybe they will take a trip south of the border at some point in time. I'm sure that was part of the negotiation. And look, what wrestler wouldn't want to wrestle one time in Arena Mexico?
Yeah, that's
come
gonna
on.
Be
like, there's places in America that are iconic for wrestling. None of them are actually built and designed for wrestling. I think Texas Stadium was like one of the last. Like, is there any place in America that was actually designed for a square wrestling ring? Like in Arena Mexico, I don't even believe was originally designed that way, but it's that way now. It's like retrofitted to, the seats start inclining right at the ring. There's no floor. There's no like 20th row of the floor where you're looking up this way above people's heads. Everything is it's a stadium built for wrestling. Who wouldn't want to go there and wrestle at least one time?
Yeah, I think when Bryan Danielson was when he had like his list of things he wanted to do, there's all Japan, which we've all heard about, but he also wanted to do an Apuestas match. I think that's when he was like growing his hair out initially in WWE, because he had that thought in his head. He wanted to do an Apuestas match in Arena Mexico,
which would be still super dope. And that's the kind of stuff that I want to see. It's like
Maskbuster's hair.
I want AEW to take advantage of the fact that they have access for the first time in America. They have the most access in America to Lucha Libre, more so than Lucha Underground, even when you look at it.
Definitely 1,000% better than Lucha Underground.
Right, because all the visas are in place. They run TV often enough. They've got relationships now with AAA and CMLL. And okay, sure, they can't cross those over. Fine, whatever. But at the same time, take advantage of the fact that you are now the company that is the American destination for Lucha Libre. And pay some respects to that culture. Like, give me some Torneos matches. Give me some an Apuestas match of some kind. Give me mask versus hair. Let's see something fun like that. And you don't have to do it all the time, but like 2 things a year out of the 104 shows you're running. No,
let's do a show down there.
Rampage too.
That was one of the original appeals of AEW with that sports-based presentation was you're going to see matches and you're going to see matchups and they're going to be exciting, and you're not going to see this anywhere else, or at least anywhere else in the States on TV. And it was like, the women's division was going to be a lot of Joshi wrestlers, and then they brought in luchadors, and then they brought in the indie PWG guys. But then you had Jericho doing the sports entertainment, and like you could see everything, and it's there on a platter for you. And they have more potential, like you're saying, to do that than ever.
Absolutely.
You have all these luchadors. Doesn't have to make sense. Put them in a match every week. And if you don't have a storyline, just let them go out there and do something, because it's still fun to watch.
Oh, and I'll tell you what, too. Speaking of, some of the women's stuff, bring up Stephanie Vaquer. Come on. Like, if you're going to bring in CMLL people, the women's division,
and
that
she
would be
could really
great. Now,
do getting out of Mexico right now.
I would love to see her face off with Taya, but maybe that's not possible because of Taya's ties to AAA. So why not Thunder Rosa, who has no ties to AAA? Why not Stephanie Vaquer versus Toni Storm? Why not Red Velvet? Like those, I would watch any of those matches, and it would bring a little bit of excitement. And it doesn't have to be a permanent thing or some long ass feud. But man, you want to talk about pop a number, put some asses in some seats. Bring me the CMLL women's champion and plop her in that division for a few days while we're waiting around for Mercedes Moné or something. Like, why is that not happening?
Oh, yeah. Just on another point was Christopher Daniels is 54 next month.
Jesus H, he is older than me by a lot. Let's just say a lot, even though it's not that much. A lot.
We got a comment in the thing.
We'll put it up on the screen. Can't you drive? You know how to drive, don't you? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So let's just look at it. I'll go, yeah. Ray Day Mascara said Danielson is about as Teflon as you can get. A quick loss to Hechicero wouldn't have hurt. I feel bad pronouncing the H. Are we supposed to pronounce the H on the name? Hechicero would not have hurt him at all. Maybe a rematch at Homenaje de Tu Leondas.
We're going with whatever you said, Byron.
And now I see why you.
I wasn't looking at it because I still have the screen with all the promo drops.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's drop.
I don't even have. I should switch over to that chat channel.
Let's drop a promo for luchamasks.com. Get your COVID lucha masks.
Remember COVID when that was a thing?
Yeah. I mean that's
and it's coming back in Europe.
Yeah,
Spain's bringing back masks.
To go back to that topic super quick, I mean, it makes all the wrestling sense, I think, for Dragon to lose, especially you're selling Hechicero as like this magician who can do anything. You see all the submissions. Surely he could figure out a way to get a quick 3 count, and it makes sense. But also there's TK booking, and Brian is one of TK's shiny toys, so he's going to win. That's kind of.
I guess so, and I don't think Danielson's the kind of guy that won't take a loss. Yeah, I think you can put a loss on Danielson, but maybe they want to wait for Arena Mexico or some other place, like and do it there. Plus, then that does protect the storylines and stuff for. It's windy in here. That does protect the storylines.
And stuff. Headphones strike again.
Yeah. So basically, here you go.
Hechicero.
Hechicero.
Great. MMM show the only podcast that will bring up Google Translate to tell you how to pronounce
the only podcast that has traditionally been about 60% Lucha Libre stuff that can't pronounce anything in Spanish.
I can now
Cuauhtemoc.
There you go.
Cuauhtemoc?
Cuauhtemoc.
No, I can't. I'm not going to try.
And you don't pronounce TL at the end
Quetzalcoatl?
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 At the end, it's like a tick. You get a k at the end. You have to kind of like lift your tongue and do an S.
Dude, you're running low on your Fanta.
I know.
I appreciate y'all for even trying. All right, should I address it? Should I address the elephant in the ring?
That's pretty harsh on.
Okay, let me give you my hot take rant, and then I'll let you guys tear me a new one. We want Cody. Why? Why do we want Cody? We don't want Cody.
We want something to get bored of after 3 days.
That's what I'm saying. Like, look, at the end of the day, I am a huge Cody fan. I'm a huge Cody fan. I've worked with the guy. The guy's done me a solid, like personally, me. Like, I love Cody Rhodes. I'm a huge fucking Cody Rhodes mark. Love the guy. Guess what I don't want to see? I don't want to see Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 for several reasons. A, I like Cody Rhodes enough to not want the story to end yet. I think there's more fun ways to tell the story of him getting there. I think it's actually entertaining. I think it makes him likable. I think it makes him a huge draw. He doesn't need a fucking belt yet necessarily. Also, I don't think they're going to have Roman Reigns lose at WrestleMania. So why would I want to see Cody face him again? Because Roman Reigns, most likely the best version of his story, which is, by the way, the story that has made the WWE more money than at any other point in time in history. It is not just Cody Rhodes' story that has done that, mind you. The Cody Rhodes story wouldn't mean shit if there wasn't a Roman Reigns story to begin with before that. So why would I want that story taken away? And I don't think that they should end that story yet. If you have Cody Rhodes go to WrestleMania 40 and beat Roman Reigns, what you're doing is ending both stories. That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. Why the fuck would you want to end both amazing stories that are going on? Don't get me wrong. I know that everyone is passionately waiting for Cody Rhodes to be able to say that he did the thing. For what? So that you can do what the next day? Be done with Cody moment. Anyway?
You know what I mean? It's literally going to be one celebration for one night.
For and then, one?
Yeah.
It's freaking night.
It's like you know, having an amazing plate of food and you know your first taste. That's it. It's done. You've tasted it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about it last week. There's like the layout, the storyline layout, like they did Sami Zayn NXT, and that's like the most like wrestling money's in the chase to get it back on the heel, get heat going, and start the whole let's make money thing again. I think with Cody, you're gonna want to have him have a bit of a babyface as champ run, not as much as matches, but you're going to want to at least get a pay-per-view cycle or two of him kissing babies, doing Make-A-Wishes, doing the talk shows. I mean, you're going to want that because he is a great ambassador for the sport and for the company. But yeah, I mean, when he wins, he needs the next version, the next story to start at some point. So I mean,
it needs to already be there.
He needs his next enemy lined up, ready, waiting.
And what I think they did with that thing the other day was actually not do that for Cody, but they set up Seth as a future opponent for Roman along the way to his big thing, a SummerSlam or some other major pay-per-view or Saudi Arabia or something. You know, I think they set up a beltless Seth to be able to come and face off against Roman and not the other way around. All right. So here's the other thing. Let's talk about the Rock part of this. Everyone is, I saw these reports that the Rock was pushing for this, that, and the other thing. From the way I understand it, from the way I heard it went down, this was always a version of the storyline that was available to them. And it was dependent on whether or not The Rock could make it work, whether or not The Rock wanted to do it. And a little bit of deference to him. There were other storylines in play. All of the things that everyone said were also possibilities. All the Gunther stuff and the Seth stuff and the CM Punk stuff. All of those things were not only discussed, but written out completely. They've had 10 different versions of all these ideas working forever, and they've kind of been waiting a little bit for Rock to come around and say that he wanted to do the thing.
And half those people are injured.
Yeah, and I get what I got what Meltzer was saying on the boards or whatever about, Rock was pushing for this, that, and the other thing. No, from what I understand, that's a mischaracterization. Rock came in excited. And by the way, all these accounts are secondhand. Like nobody has talked to anybody who was inside that room. So nobody can tell you what actually went down. All I'm saying is I believe from the people that I've talked to that Rock came in and was very enthusiastic about being a part of WrestleMania this year. It felt like it was the time and it was good for everyone. And so then that was the direction that everyone went. And is there a problem with that? Like, we've known that was a possibility. People have wanted and clamored for that to be a possibility for the last 3 years. So yes, we want Cody. We all want Cody to finish the story at some point. Yes, it's super brutal and painful to wait another year or however long for Cody to finish the story. But my whole thing is, man, maybe the idea and the concept of finishing the story was a bad idea in the first place because why? You like Cody too? No, you want Roman. Say Roman.
Oh,
This is a
Santos
blank.
Escobar needs to finish the story.
Oh, Escobar needs to finish the story. The story is Escobar is a dirty heel, and we love it.
And
Yeah.
he needs to murder Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Wait,
he's
Meef,
going
are you
to.
playing video games like Casey during the show?
Yeah.
No. I got the TV for the child.
Oh, for the
Oh,
child.
he's got it queued up for
Nice.
Wii one.
Got to put Bluey on.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this as, working in TV and you have issues with like, the thing that you had planned didn't work out, or like if you're doing a reality show, documentary series, and it rains and you're like, I can't go outside with my guys and do the scene. I don't have a thing. Well, you write something else. Like you just write and make something happen, and whatever didn't happen never existed. So it's like this whole problem with who's going to have a match. Like the problem to me isn't what the matches are going to be, it's how they're doing it. And I feel like, it's objectively bad how they started doing it on Friday. It's just bad. You look at all the feedback, the most downvotes for a YouTube video, everyone's tweeting. I saw Ricochet sticking up for Cody, even though he also said, I like The Rock having the match too. It's like, man, maybe you
Okay, but
shouldn't
here's
be cutting
Got a little
Twitter
trim, haven't we?
promos either.
you
But
got
it's like they just got to do a better job of presenting the path so people can be on board with it. That's the whole thing. Tell a story better.
Here's part of the thing about Friday to me. Let's go back to a week before Friday when the Vince McMahon shit drops. Okay. And then Triple H, great Rumble. Everyone's excited and interested, but he botches the press conference a little bit. What are people now not talking about? They are not talking about Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
They're not talking about Netflix. They're not talking about anything. They're talking about Cody. They're not talking about the mediocre setup with Bailey and EO that I also was kind of like, meh. I get it, but meh.
They did that in one show. They
It
could have
was like,
There wasn't
really?
even a
They've been
turn
talking
off
shit about you behind your back this whole time and you understood the Japanese? Really? We couldn't have gotten some hints about that like a month and a half or 2 months ago? Come on, guys. That's a bad retcon.
There was like little tiniest things, like where they'd be in the ring and them three were stood, and she'd be slightly nervous or panicky. But like when they were first appearing with EO, but
yeah, I mean there was
that wasn't really sowing any
all,
seeds of turning or anything, was it?
Yeah, that we all kind of felt it coming or whatever. And I get the whole Rhea Ripley thing, but let's be honest. Like in a world of if WWE is real and these two people get these two opportunities and they were going to call people out, yes. Cody Rhodes would not give two F's about The Rock and would be calling out Roman Reigns and like, dude, that's the money match. That's the match that puts me over. Or he would be taking the easy match against Seth to make more money to then do a bigger, like if it was boxing, you'd go and you beat Seth, you get that belt, and then you try to unify both of them by taking out Roman without putting up your belt. That's what people do in boxing all the time. Like, can I get yours and not give up mine? It happens all the time for unification matches. And Bailey obviously would have called out Rhea Ripley. She wouldn't have called out somebody that, even if it was a homie that turned on her that fast and in that way. Come on.
But what was really crazy about that was it was obviously EO was never going to call out Bailey because obviously Bailey had the shot for WrestleMania, but there was no, like, even when Bailey started, EO wasn't like, oh fuck, let's just fuck her up. They then did, but like it was really just meek and kind of like
yeah, and here's my thing about it. Like Damage Control has gone back and forth from being hot to not. And I understand that Triple H has backed this whole Bailey plan from the get-go. I don't know if this was part of it or not. I know that Bailey really wanted to do a big women's faction like this. I almost think it's a shame to have it fall apart this soon.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I don't know what they're getting out of it. If Bailey's not going back to the hugger and selling billions of dollars in merchandise. What are we doing here? We're not entertaining the fans enough for it to matter. Is Triple H just paying service to something that he likes? This might be his most Tony Khan moment.
It's just going, oh, Bailey got her moment of winning the Royal Rumble and going to WrestleMania that she's wanted to do, etc., etc. And then they've kind of gone, oh yeah, shit, we better have something for her to do. If you know what I mean, that's what it feels like. It's like they're just kind of going,
okay, but I buy that. If it's just a legacy moment, okay, I'm not like super mad at it. I'm saying I'm okay with that, but this still feels like the most Triple H serving Triple H moment of anything that he's done since he's been the head booker to me.
I think there's an element, and I mean, this is a half joke, half. This is what WWE does. I think this kind of follows Okada. So, like, number one, they got Kyrie back, so they have to do a little bit to, follow through on some of the promises. We're going to, have a plan for you. And so she's doing it right, and her and Asuka are over. Anyway, they're the best tag team in the company. But they want Okada. So Shinsuke has been like an actual character on a wrestling show for like the past year or whatever it is. And they're like, oh, look, we can actually book Japanese wrestlers. And now Io has been champ for a year. Io 100% deserves it. On the main roster, Io never got the booking to be champ until probably like a third of the way into her run.
Yeah.
But Damage Control was hot, and Shinsuke was hot, and I think as it gets closer and closer to Okada showing up in AEW, the pessimist in me kind of sees some of that fire kind of go away, and it's like, okay, we don't need Io can go and be like a 5 foot tall, whatever women's wrestler, and we can have Rhea and Bailey and have the normal WWE superstars. By the way, for my money, Io is like one of the top wrestlers in WWE at all, or in wrestling at all. Like, I don't mean disrespect to her. This is just the company she works for and the presentation that she works in. I think part of it is, Okada, who's one of the biggest stars ever. And they're trying to like say, look, this is all right for you. And then when he leaves, they're going to be like, oh, we don't like our Japanese talent anymore.
I mean, maybe it's that brutal, but damn, that sounds brutal.
I mean, it's like half joke, half. I've watched WWE for decades.
I don't know, like
conspiracy theory, kind of half truth.
Again, the thing I do find funny about it is we might be the only people even talking about that stuff right now. Everybody else is on this "we want Cody" thing. Yeah. So here's what happens. Unless you're under a rock, and if you're watching this show,
Cody's under a rock.
You obviously already know what happened. That Cody comes out on SmackDown. He kind of half-heartedly gives this promo. We hear Roman's reasons for why he thinks his belt is better. Though if I were Roman, I would have come out and been like, Cody Rhodes, I don't care what you choose to do. Like, if you come after me, I'm going to beat you down again. If you go after the other guy, fine. I don't care about what you think of the credentials of my belt. It's my belt. That's the promo I would have cut if I was Roman Reigns. All this other stuff of him trying to prove that his championship is worth something, that makes sense coming from Seth, but not from Roman. That was my first, like, I don't like this promo. Then Cody comes out and proceeds to agree with him about everything that he said about his title, and that is finishing the story and what the lineage of that belt means. Agrees with him and says, but I want to completely take you out. That was a little bit of a misstep. Like, why have Cody say, and I get what they're trying to do of like, they don't want Cody to seem like an idiot. But if you're going to make Cody go the other direction, Cody should be refuting what he's saying. He should be maybe acknowledging it like, yeah, you might have the lineage, but what you've done with the lineage of that title is disgraceful.
Yeah.
And I want to bring all of the things that you think make you great by holding that belt to a whole nother title. I'm so good, I can put the lineage of what my father did, of what Ric Flair did. I can put that into another belt. I don't need your belt. That should be the promo. And speaking of me not needing your belt, I got a bigger problem for you to deal with, bitch. And then bring out The Rock.
Yeah.
If that's the promo, the entire idea that WWE wanted there works.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to, and I saw a tweet, and I'm not going to actually say what the tweet was because it was a troll tweet.
And it
But
had the N word in it, or what?
I mean, most of my Twitter has the N word in it. Is that bad?
No, I mean that's typical these days.
Yeah,
it's Black History Month, of course. It's
you just post about Ninja Turtles.
But I saw this tweet that was like, you know, if everyone wasn't such victim culture, they would get over this whole Cody thing, and that blew my mind because like the victim culture isn't the word for it. It's an underdog story. That's what sports is built on. That's what sports entertainment wrestling is built on. The underdog story. Yeah, you know who it was. But Cody has always been. He's like the grandson of a plumber. His dad was the underdog. Cody is even more of the underdog because he's the son with the less shine on him, like Goldust. He was in Two Shadows.
The not shiny Nepo baby.
Yeah. He in oh man, the Randy Orton, Ted DiBiase Jr. group, Legacy, whatever. He was still below Ted DiBiase Jr. How insane is that? Right? Yeah. So he's the massive underdog, and he's worked it perfectly, and he does the crying promos. There's that one screenshot of him looking at Rock where he looks sad, like he's completely defeated. And it's like, I don't know. I don't think Cody's going to go out there in the ring and actually put his real heart on his. He's a professional. He's not going to put the real heart on his sleeve and let it slip out that he's super sad about Rock taking that thing. Everything he does is precisely working to do the story and the segment and the character work he's supposed to, or he wants to.
Yeah, and I think Heyman thought that was going to work last night or Friday night. It didn't work.
Yeah, and everyone wants. We've been gearing up for the past year or two, effectively building Cody and rooting for Cody as the underdog in WWE. AEW, his booking was like a circus. I mean, it was fun, but Cody has always kind of been the underdog since he left WWE and was trying to make a name for himself. Why wouldn't we root for him over The Rock?
This should have done.
50, 60-year-old steroid-bound dude who got blown up doing one spine buster. He's coming from Hollywood. He's better than us. And like everyone loves The Rock. But if you're going to start comparing him, if you're going to put him next to someone else who everyone absolutely loves and has been cheering for 2 years, you're going to see the cracks in his presentation. You're going to see this guy just walked in. We actually don't like part-timers taking our guys' spot and blah, blah, blah. And of course we're going to root for Cody, and of course we're going to feel for him. And I'm actually if you're giving me the big one.
Do you know they should have done?
What?
They should have had Rikishi run over Cody Rhodes after.
I kid you not. And you see the whole
someone take him out on the rock actually steal it.
Dude, the second you put Rikishi on a live WWE mic is when he starts putting over his 15 family members who are actively wrestling in all of the companies, who are all like actively killing it too. They're all phenomenal.
There's a lot of Fatus and Anois out there. There's a lot.
But if you're going to a wrestling,
they're an entire wrestling federation for themselves.
Yeah. If they were to have The Rock take it from Cody, they should literally have had him actually take it from him and put Cody out injured, and then Roman and Rock have their match. Then Cody kind of.
That makes Rock a heel. So here's.
But he's a heel now anyway.
Just really quick to wrap up what I was saying, and I actually forgot halfway through. To Justin's point, the whole thing that makes what Justin said work about the Cody thing is Cody's the underdog. We feel bad for him. He needs to have agency in all of this going on. If he has agency, then we don't feel bad for him. And I think
it can't be Harry Potter. If you watch the Harry Potter movies or read the books, which is better, you see that Harry Potter is never, ever proactive. He's actually the worst hero in all of cinematic history. He doesn't do anything. Shit just happens to him the entire time. Harry Potter does not actually do anything. He just shows up places.
Neville's the hero.
Correct. So that was what happened to Cody on Friday. Cody was Harry Potter. He wasn't a proactive hero in his own story. He was just and this is what the audience felt. The audience felt like, okay, The Rock said he wanted the shot at Roman Reigns, and they pushed him around, and all of a sudden the Samoans are in charge, and our Puerto Rican white guy hero is off on the side. Like, that's not okay for a lot of people. So here's the thing. It happened. It's done. For whatever reason why it happened, I defy anyone at WWE, unless they tell me that it was specifically written that way to take attention off of the Vince McMahon thing and get this level of heat. Unless they say that to me, I cannot believe that the reaction that they're getting right now was intentional. It may be beneficial in the long run. It may have actually saved their ass in a couple of facets, but at the same time, I have to believe that it was just a good old-fashioned mistake, and it feels like a Paul Heyman mistake. It does not feel like a Triple H mistake, by the way. This feels like Triple H had the idea of, look, all a Triple H has to say is, yeah, I want WrestleMania to be The Rock and Roman and then Cody and somebody else. That's all his job is. And then somebody else has to write the finer points of that to make the audience believe it. Mm. I still think that they'll get there if they really want that. I don't know if they still really want that, and I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
So the way that you fix this, to me, I want to start there. We can talk about that for a second before I get into what they may or may not actually be doing. I think you have to put The Rock so close to Cody that you can't boo The Rock without also booing Cody. They have to feel like those two characters are completely on the same page. Those two characters have to be coming to the audience and saying, no, guys, we got something for this motherfucker. You got to trust both of us. Like, we're doing this. The people that you love, the people that you want to cheer, we're doing this, and we're doing this for you. This isn't that. Basically, they have to say, this isn't The Rock screwing Cody. This is The Rock being a friend to Cody. This is Cody helping The Rock solve his family problem. They have to come out together, and Cody has to say, guys, I want that belt, but at the same time, this is a family matter, and I want to show this, that. They just have to cut promos. They have to cut promos that are believable, that they're on the same page. But here comes We Want Cody.
It's the woe movement, Justin.
The woe movement. So you're seeing WWE talent comment on this now. Mm-hmm. Let's be honest. They're not allowed to do that unless it's approved, guys. And it's taken 2 days. Like, it wasn't Friday night of, hey, what's going on, Springtrap? They weren't like, this is everyone going, oh fuck, what did we do? This is, oh my god, we got the most dislikes on a YouTube video that we've ever gotten. What did we do? Okay, people are watching, so this is good.
Yeah.
But how do we move this forward in the right direction now? How do we keep The Rock from going out and getting booed like the promo was getting booed at a house show? Like, what do we do? So they start retconning a little bit. They're already re-releasing it. They're already putting videos back up, and they say, like, one of the best moments in WWE history, and they just focus on The Rock facing off with Roman Reigns and taking Cody out of the equation. There's other things like, okay, now the talent are saying we want Cody and this, that, and the other thing. They're building story already. Now, what could they do with the story? They could do two things. Cody has not declared officially that he's fighting Seth Rollins. He has just said that as much as he wants to fight Roman Reigns, he's taken counsel from his buddy, and his buddy is here. And then The Rock shows up. That's all that's happened. Cody didn't say, and I'm challenging Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. So they can still get out of that. They could have, which people have talked about forever, they could go back to a 2-night plan. They could go back to the complete decimation of Roman Reigns, where The Rock faces Roman one day at WrestleMania, and then Cody faces him the next day.
Oh, let's have Rock face Seth.
No. You'd have Cody win the belt on night one, and then have him absolutely kick the shit out of as his final tail between the legs, thrown out the door by The Rock on the second night. I feel that's a better
Maybe.
story.
Yeah, like you can still do something like that. And to bait and switch, or you can make the audience think that something like that's going to happen to bait and switch them off of this booing Rock thing until you can be a little more meticulous about this switch, which is the other thing that they could do. They've got to put the mystery back in, or they've got to give some answers that are more likable to the audience.
We'll just
because right now, but here's the other thing I'm going to say. Okay, the IWC is fucking pissed. Hardcore fans are fucking pissed. Has anyone gone and seen how many followers Cody has on social media? It's a lot. It's like, I don't know, like 1.7 million or something. And then like 2 million or something on IG or 20 million, whatever. The Rock has like 386 million fucking followers on IG. Yep. I'm talking not double the numbers that Cody Rhodes has. I'm talking like an infinite amount more reach. What you're doing by putting Roman Reigns in the main event against The Rock is something that Cody can't fucking do. I don't care how much you want him to finish the story. He can't be The Rock. He cannot bring the amount of casuals, the amount of money, the amount of press and publicity around the goddamn world that The Rock can. The Rock is not going away from this situation. All they can do is pivot and make you like it more. If the WWE has the access and ability to have The Rock at WrestleMania wrestling Roman Reigns in any capacity with his 386 million fucking followers or whatever the hell crazy ass number it is, you have to do that. You just have to do that. The problem was they set it up with a really bad promo. It was not set up the right way. It's the right thing, done the wrong way. How do they fix it? I mean, Byron, I know you've got some ideas. How do they fix this?
I mean, I think what we've been talking about with Cody having agency, I think that that's the most important thing to do. I have good ideas, like let's just put him in a 4-way eliminator match. Just, hey, you know, let's just do that. Let's take the easy way out.
Can you just undo it and have Cody versus Roman?
I mean, don't do that, because here's the thing. Here, to your point, and it's
do real fans believe that's an answer, a possibility?
Well,
do
I mean,
really think that you can do that at this point?
The whole, I think you gotta stick with with what you're doing, and like they have Netflix happening. Like this is more than selling out tickets in an arena, and so if The Rock is doing something, then if The Rock sneezes, you're gonna have trade publications, you're gonna have mainstream news articles about it. So that's the reach that you want to aspire to. That's what you want WWE TKO to aspire to as they go to Netflix. So you need that.
In essence, you can have
you gotta think as big as possible, but you gotta make it work. I think Springtrap brought up a dream match of Roman, Cody, Rock. I think that's a match to have at some point. I think the whole like wrestling mindset of what happened last Friday was you created a ton of heat, which is great in wrestling. But to Justin's point, how do you mold that into money for the company? Because right now you have a ton of heat and it's a bunch of people who are pissed, right? Which is great, but you got to do something with it. You got to give and direct it in a way that's productive. Otherwise, people aren't going to want to watch. The fans aren't going to. You're going to have a bunch of mainstream, a bunch of casuals who are like, oh, I heard The Rock is doing WrestleMania. And they might watch a YouTube video of the highlights of it. But you need to do something. But I think with that heat, I want to see Rock and Cody. That's what I want to see more than anything. I don't care.
You want to see Roman Rock and Cody now?
I don't care about Rock and Roman, to be honest with you.
And you don't care about Cody and Roman. You want to see Rock and Cody?
Yeah, that's where they put
the baby faces, though.
But that's where they put the heat last week. The Rock came in and cucked Cody. That's what everyone's upset about. That's not the
story. That's just that's the perception. The story was Cody brought The Rock in to help him.
Yeah. To deal with the problem that's bigger than Cody Rhodes.
And this is what I'm saying. It's like I feel like the IWC is reading into this something that casuals are never going to see. And people have to understand that casuals for the WWE and especially for a WrestleMania still make up 80 to 85% of the overall market.
Yeah.
Like our opinions matter. And believe me, I think people's voices got heard enough that WWE is genuinely concerned because just like I said, Rock has that reach. But what if all of a sudden the reach, as these outside publications and outside media and casuals are coming in to see what the new story is, to see what The Rock is doing, the story that they're getting is The Rock shows up at WrestleMania to screw over this really nice white kid.
Okay, hold on.
I'm sorry, this really nice Puerto Rican kid.
Half Puerto Rican.
So
the thing with the Cody Rhodes is he doesn't get the picture on Times Square. He doesn't get the cover of Rolling Stone. The Rock versus Roman Reigns facing off at WrestleMania is the Rolling Stone front cover. You know, that kind of, it's not.
I mean, or maybe now it's The Rock versus Roman Reigns facing off with like a pouty faced, ghostly background image of Cody back here. Like
a little puppy dog.
But I'm the grandson of the son of a plumber.
I feel like I should do a Photoshop now of a dog sat in a rainy window outside.
So, Springtrap, I want to address this too, that Cody needs a real championship. I got to say this. From merchandise, from an overall fan base perspective, Cody absolutely hasn't needed anything. In fact, let's not forget, Cody at one point in the last year was the undisputed tag champion. Anybody remember that?
Oh, so have you ever seen, Justin, you've been to WWE shows recently. Have you seen he has a belt? The weightlifting belt, and that thing they cannot keep in stock. He signs like 1,000.
He signs 300 something per show, which ends up being like 1,000 something a week.
Why didn't AEW sell those? That's weird.
And they literally, when we had the Money in the Bank, the guys they probably sold over 1,000. They probably went into I don't want to say into 5,000, but you couldn't keep the guy was having to run out and run to the I think it's Fanatics who run it. They were having to drive up to their storehouse
and
bring more in because they just could not keep that stuff. That was just in the O2 the day before Money in the Bank. That was just in a normal shop in the center. It wasn't during the event. That was pre the show.
Ridiculous. But I mean that's part of it. Okay. Cody's half Cuban potentially, not Puerto Rican.
We're gonna have to check now.
Cody's the everyman. He's half everything.
He is. We love Cody, and I jest. Cody's good people. Yeah. Cody's a friend. So he just doesn't. He hasn't needed a belt. I know everyone wants him to have a belt. There's a want for Cody to have a belt. There isn't actually a need. He is the number 2 guy in the company. On the back of his work, on the back of his character, on the back of how much people appreciate who he is, on the back of the fact that he did everything he said when he left, and got this other company started and went to New Japan and went and did the indie challenge thing where he came, the list and all that crap that he did, all amazing stuff. He worked to be the number 2 guy in wrestling. Also, he's the number 2 guy in wrestling. He does not need to necessarily dethrone the number 1 guy.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily good for all of us. Okay, everyone wants to see it now, but guys, fans, IWC, people out there, you remember how much we all really loved the Bloodline story last year? At this time, that how much we loved what was going on with Sami Zayn, how much everyone said this is the best storyline in wrestling history. Have people forgotten that soon just because we want the next shiny thing? Are we all Tony Khan as wrestling fans? That we just have to have our little dream matches? That we have to have our Oompa Loompas? That Cody's our next new shiny toy? That we're ready to get rid of the best storyline in wrestling history.
I mean, Taz is under contract at AEW, so he can't.
Yeah, and another and something that just popped in my head, bringing that up, besides the
Bright orange.
the Botchamania drawings of Taz that people bring to shows, is that the thing with the Bloodline story is that is a star-making program that made the Usos single stars, right? That both Usos could very possibly challenge and carry the world title belt in our minds now. I don't know if they're going to,
Maybe not Jimmy,
but like
definitely
they're a lot better off than they were beforehand. Sammy, could have, should have tasted gold.
But it elevated guys.
Everybody's upset that Sammy didn't win it. See, that's the thing, and no one really cares about that now, do they?
Nobody won it. Nobody's won it. Like, he's gone up against all the best guys, but that's part of how they're making all these tremendous baby faces. That's how they're doing this. It's part of the machine right now that is creating one of the best versions of WWE that has happened in a long time. You can't really do it in this day and age the other way. You can't make people get behind a baby face at the top like the Hogan era. We're not ever going to go back to say your prayers and eat your vitamins. The NWO ruined that permanently, where the bad guys became cooler. Stone Cold Steve Austin was a bad guy that everyone made a good guy. The Rock himself was a bad guy that everyone made a good guy. That's
Triple
the way
H was the same thing.
Yeah. But also it's not the most effective way to have a pure baby face. Like, there hasn't been a pure baby face in ages.
Well, you had Super Cena, and then you had pretty much Randy Orton doing the chase as a heel, and it sucked.
Right.
It was terrible. And
it got Randy go away heat, and he's one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
There was like 2 or 3 years where I did not like Randy Orton. It was go away heat too. It wasn't like boo Randy. It was I'm turning the channel. Like, I was just bored to shit with Randy doing that. It wasn't interesting to me. And Roman Reigns, when they tried to go pure babyface, that guy was a locker room leader. Everybody at WWE fucking loved Roman. He was taking it for the team all the time. He was fighting through illnesses and injuries and still leading that entire locker room, which is why he gets to be the guy he gets to be now. But doing it as a babyface in the storylines didn't fucking work. God, they wish that Roman could have been Cody Rhodes back then. But Cody Rhodes is Cody Rhodes right now, which means the upside is tremendous. He can be the number one guy for 8 years after Roman's done. He can be the number one guy starting next year, when you can easily slide Roman into being the number 2 guy, when he's gotten this giant crown, when he's taken Hulk Hogan down off the list, when he's done these other things. Roman can be the solid number 2 guy, can slide back a little bit, and Cody can take over. But why do it now? I get that everybody's ready, and I think that audience fatigue is a real factor, and you don't want them to turn on Cody. So WWE's got their work cut out for them. They've got to find a way to make this work where you don't finish both stories. You get to keep 2 great stories that continue for a decade. That's what real fans should want. It shouldn't just be, I want my Oompa Loompa and I want it now. I want Cody in the main event. Everyone who's a fan of wrestling should be saying, how can I get the most entertainment factor out of this stupid fucking show for 6 hours a week, or however many hours of wrestling
43 hours a week
WWE puts on?
I was going to say just a theory that popped into my head, and it sounds weird because, we like to just make up shit, don't we? And come up with these ideas that sound, again, like we said last week, it sounds really good when you're throwing these ideas out, and then actually in practicality it's shit. So The Rock beats Roman Reigns, and then The Rock comes out and goes, right, I've got rid of that dickhead now. Everything's gone. Everything's sorted. Family drama sorted. He's no longer got this whole thing under control, blah, blah, blah. Scrapping. I'm throwing these belts away. Here's a proper championship, blah, blah, blah. We've been through the cycle before. Here's a new one.
Had a new belt every time.
Yeah, but the thing is the Romans killed those belts. They need replacing. And
so you want a complete reset and just throw away everything that they've invested in Roman Reigns for the last 4 years?
Oh, yeah.
You're just brutal, though, bro.
Oh,
you just want it all to come crashing down.
But I do like the Nero watching it burn.
I love Meef. I'm trying to come up with ways to fix the whole industry, and Meef's just like, no, fuck it. Let's have the one thing that no one thinks is going to happen, which is The Rock win, and then just completely dethrones You're like, yeah, we did it all for The Rock to beat Roman, which is one of the craziest things I've heard. People are like, oh, Rock's politicking to win now, and this and the other. No, he's not. Rock is not politicking to win.
The best one is the Rock is going to be the new Vince McMahon. Apart from that bit,
there is an idea that
the whole corporate
Rock and Gerwitz are gonna take over WWE, which I think. I mean, I don't think that's out of the question. That's something that could happen in the next few years.
I'll tell you what The Rock doesn't want. I'll tell you exactly what The Rock doesn't want and what Rock doesn't need. To do a whole lot of work at another job that he's already getting paid for.
Yeah.
He's not going to get extra money to show up and be the new Vince McMahon. So unless it's making him as a board member and shareholder more money, he's not going to do that. And also, he doesn't have that many shares in WWE, by the way. He does not have Vince's controlling shares of WWE yet. Yeah. Everyone has not quite gotten hip to that part of like, yes, Vince is off the board. Vince has no controlling interest anymore. His shares have been neutralized. He still owns them. Yeah. He hasn't sold them all yet. Rock didn't buy all of Vince McMahon's shares in WWE. Ari Emanuel didn't buy all of Vince's shit yet. I'm sure it's in the process of happening. I'm sure Vince wants his parachute, and I'm sure they want his name off of all of the registries. They just neutered his power.
If I was Vince, I wouldn't be going anywhere near parachuting at the minute.
Well, you know what I'm saying. I just think I find it all very, very interesting. I think that Seth Rollins' promo was great. I think that at the end of the day, no, Cody doesn't need a belt at all. But one of those two belts might need Cody. And that belt would be the heavyweight title. I think that Cody could put some prestige on that. It's only had one owner. If we want people to believe in this belt going forward as part of the future of the company, when that belt was made, we all said, oh, they're making a new version of the big gold belt for Cody. And then people were surprised when Seth got it. I was surprised when Seth got it. From the get-go, we all said that was the Cody consolation prize. And honestly, we were fine with that. People are mad because it went a whole nother year with this finish the story thing, and Cody still hasn't had either belt. I get it. People are mad. We want Cody's a thing. Clearly, the WWE is going to roll with this we want Cody thing. They're going to morph it somehow because they're letting talent now talk about it.
Put it on
and letting talent say if they want Cody or not. And they may not be letting talent in on it. It doesn't mean that there's some big conspiracy that everyone already knows. It means that they're saying, oh, no, we've got a plan to roll with this we want Cody thing, so we're going to do it. Talent, get out there on social media. You know, our social guys, put those clips back up, retcon them, keep the Cody part here, do this with the Roman and Rock face-off. Like, it's already happening today on Sunday before Vengeance. I think even going into, what is the NXT pay-per-view? Vengeance Day? Yeah, tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on Peacock.
Did you end up with Paul Heyman being like Cody's new counsel or some shit? Like Palpatine there wanting, like, you know, come to the dark side.
Yeah, maybe. They got 2 months, guys. Like, I think that they can do some. I hope they take this as an opportunity to do some fun shit. So let's see, Roxanne Perez versus Lyra Valkyria tonight. That should be interesting.
Do you know what should happen at WrestleMania? Sold it. Karrion Kross should come out and drop the rock on his head.
Wait, so Trick's got to wrestle twice tonight? I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the card for Vengeance Day. Trick's got to do a tag match, and the championship. I hope he wins them all. Black History Month. Let's go, brother. Whoop that Trick. Whoop that Trick. And also big shout out to Mission Pro Wrestling. They have an event coming up next weekend. So go check out Mission Pro if you're in Texas. Put some butts in seats. Find them on Title Match Network. I was trying to get Thunder Rosa to come on here today and talk about it, but she's actually wrestling at an indie for the first time in like 2 years. Welcome back. Look at that. Your back's not too broken for the indies. That's dope. That's a good sign. When you're willing to take indie gigs after an injury, I think that's a positive sign on where things are headed, right?
Yeah.
All right, that's all I got. I can't talk about it anymore. Yes, we all want Cody. We want Cody too. I just think that this is fine. I also have been saying, you know, I said it last week. I've said it for a ton on the internet because we haven't been doing the show. I never thought Cody was going to beat Roman Reigns at this year's WrestleMania anyway. I did not want Cody to face Roman Reigns. I am a Cody fan. I never thought it was a good idea. I didn't want him to win the Royal Rumble. I wanted CM Punk or someone else to win the Royal Rumble, so it wasn't even an issue, and we could have pouty face Cody continue on without finishing his story some other way. I think they just made some missteps here with how they
good would it have been if CM Punk had beaten Cody? We had pouty Cody, and then CM Punk was like, by the way, I'm injured
and I can't accept this, and chickulators. That would have been great. That would have been great TV. That would have been a meaningless Royal Rumble would have been awesome.
Yeah. We'll have to have another one on Raw next week.
Would have been great. I would have been, like the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal determines.
It turns into a pre-show.
On the pre-show the night before determines who's in the main event on the last day.
Just have 30-man elimination chamber. Have like just 10 pods with 3 people in each around the ring.
That would be fun. And we'll see. And I wonder if we're going to get Bianca and Rhea at WrestleMania 2. That there's a promo thing that's happening Thursday.
There's a lot of graphics that keep coming out with like people. Like, it's got The Rock and Roman, then it's got like Cody and Seth are on there, and I think Bailey and
no, it was Bianca and Rhea.
That was it.
Which hasn't
not Io and Bailey, which is the only actual announced match for WrestleMania. So
and I think there was one with someone else on it today as well, which is a bit crazy.
Yeah, we'll see. You can move stuff around on those, but anyway, it's an interesting time in wrestling. It's peak wrestling, everybody.
I think we're all excited for Tony Khan to announce a new show in Boston soon.
Oh my God. Tony Khan's big announcement this week. He changed his socks.
So
I don't know.
Anyways.
He found something in them.
I will leave you with this thought. If Wednesday on Dynamite, one of the most over real black superstars in a long time with Swerve Strickland, our boy Stefan, faces off against a guy who is a proclaimed redneck cowboy who does cowboy shit, who has Hangman as his nickname, and loses in Black History Month and does not put Strickland on the road to a championship in Black History Month.
Can you imagine if he did that Raven DDP over the top rope?
I don't know if I'm gonna. No,
that was the finish in the last match.
Was it?
Yeah,
but Swerve did that to Hangman.
Oh, okay,
right.
Okay. He knew jacked him.
No, here's my problem. Hangman is due for a win on Swerve.
Yeah,
but like, really, in the middle of Black History Month, is that when you're going to put Hangman over Swerve and tell Swerve that he's not the next contender for the title?
I think though, this is looking at not looking at on screen, but just kind of what we know of wrestlers off screen. I think Hangman is probably Adam Page. I think this month I'll call him by his name. Adam Page is totally on board with helping put the rocket on Swerve to do the thing. I think Hangman would 100% like
it's
put
a
Swerve
gimmick.
over to do it.
Adam Page being a cowboy is a gimmick. He is like one of the nicest, most liberal people in the world. I don't want it to get confused. The guy has not a racist or sexist or homophobic bone in his body.
Yeah,
he is in fact quite the activist at times, which makes his redneck character and all like he's swerving the flyover states. Like honestly, redneck hill folk white people should be mad at Hangman for coming at them with this bullshit cowboy gimmick of
there's not enough brain cells there
of looking like a racist redneck cowboy dude, because he's not even partially that. And him and Stefan are buddies. So but you gotta ask yourself,
brothers at this point.
Christ, if Swerve loses that match in the middle of Black History Month, that's such a bad look. That's such a bad look.
Yeah. So I guess it being that bad of a decision, bad of an idea, I think makes it in wrestling pretty high probable.
Yeah, I just would not have faced those guys off against each other again right now. I just wouldn't have. I get it, and I like
it cost him.
I'm always bitching that AEW doesn't have enough of these kind of feuds where they just find, like WWE, It's like Vikings versus Alpha Academy. Let's do that for 3 months. Let's find different ways to have a bunch of different matches with all those guys. I don't mind that. And I feel like AEW needs to do that more often. Like, I want to see people get good wrestling each other, have good mid-card stories that just kind of give you the entertainment factor and drive the show along. And then maybe they get a pay-per-view match out of it, or maybe there's some big TV blow-off match and have some fun. Like they were doing it a little bit with House of Black and FTR and those guys. That was fun. Like, let that go a little bit longer next time. Like, find ways to make those programs work. Like, let me see all the different iterations of a singles match in that feud. Then let me see the big three, and like, tell me which is the match that I'm waiting for. Is it the two top guys to face off at the end? Is it like Malachi and Dax facing off at some point? Or is it like the big trios match between all of them for the belts or something? Like, that kind of shit can work. And I feel like AEW gives up on it so fast. So I like the fact that Hangman and Swerve have heat. It's ongoing. But the fact that Swerve has won all of the previous matches.
Yeah.
Oh, this is really bad timing, Tony. Really bad.
I know, but this is Swerve's moment. So you gotta just put him over. So
Does
I think
he really think you put him over Hangman again? That doesn't neuter Hangman?
I'd like to
no,
take
I mean,
to take claim for him being able to cut a promo now.
Hangman had
calling him out made him to take a look at himself and realize what he needed to do to learn.
Can you do that for Trevor too, Meef?
No, I've tried that before. Trev, don't listen.
Yeah, no, I mean, you look at where we're going with this, and we're making Swerve a champion in this calendar year. So I think that's what you do. I think Hangman is of service to that. And I think he is probably like the most heated program they can do that right now, especially since Keith Lee dropped off, got hurt. He just couldn't step in. Also, like, Tony hadn't built him up for whatever reason to work on this level. And this is the best program for Swerve to go over, I think, before he goes for the title. Does he beat Joe? I think that's the bigger question at Revolution.
Which is another thing. It's like, God, it feels like it's Swerve's time, but I don't feel like you beat Joe that fast.
Right. But maybe they have
another pay-per-view coming in April now. There's a new pay-per-view being added in April.
Oh.
So maybe you can do it then. But I feel like you got to get Joe through at least one more pay-per-view.
I would absolutely love to have sort of, I don't know, just like the Hangman program with Swerve and Joe. But
it's almost a shame you haven't put it on Swerve right now during this time when MJF is out pretending to be negotiating a contract that he's not negotiating.
Yeah, it's funny how people still. But I think Joe and Swerve, their first match is really going to be day one of their program. I mean, honestly, they're not working together right now. So that's what I hope. I hope that Swerve has a good long program with Joe that is as hot as it is with Adam Page, and Swerve has to be champ. It
feels like the right thing. It feels like Stefan Strickland, Swerve Strickland, Shane Strickland, Kill Shot, Swerve.
Meef, did you say do the right thing?
Champion.
Yeah, in wrestling, do they do the right thing?
Do the right thing. That's our next
TK. How come we can't get it on Brothers on the Wall? That's the real question. How come we can't get on Brothers on the Wall, TK?
Yeah.
Not an ROH. I want a Shane Taylor win on an AEW show, not ROH. I'd like to see Athena again, like without paying you $10 a month or whatever Honor Club is. What is it, $5, $10?
Oh, you just reminded me now. The CMLL thing that they've just launched for like $30.
Oh Jesus!
Whatever it was. It's like
they got to get AEW and Ring of Honor on HBO Max. By the way, that's a whole nother. Why did you get rid of the 3 letters HBO and kept Max, which is no one gives a shit. Anyway, that's the whole thing.
I'm questioning a lot of the streaming marketplace branding, and there's a reason why Netflix is still kicking the shit out of all these people.
First of all, I I have to go. I can't do 3 hours of this. But real quick,
dude, I was trying to end the show like 20 minutes ago. It's always your
know.
fault. It's your own
I
fault.
know.
Don't tell me you want to do an hour show and then you're the guy responsible for the extra 20 minutes. It's
I
your
just
fault.
want to say one thing at the end. I saw this new live show, and it made me think, oh, WWE, but live show on Netflix that they're trying. It's Dave Chang, and it's like dinner time, whatever.
Oh, Chef
Just
Chang.
like
Great
but
guy.
it's great.
Yes,
Like, he cooks for two celebrities. It's usually like two funny people who are doing a show together. I saw the one.
Here's my question.
Whatever,
How fast
anyway.
does the archive of that go up? From
I don't know. I
Because that's
just
one of the questions a lot of people have about Raw is like, okay, so Raw airs live in the app, but then how soon is the archive going to be available? Like, I love what Peacock does with the pay-per-views where, man, that thing is up and rocking about a half hour later
yeah, that's great.
from the
Yes,
live
you hear
pay-per-view.
like with sports, like because there's like so you can watch a live football match like Man United, Chelsea, whatever. You can watch it live on Sky, but the like replay of it didn't used to be available straight away because the BBC have match of the day like highlight show which shows all the
Mhm.
football. So like you could
Definitely.
never watch the highlights of a something that was broadcast.
Yeah, and the NFL was a little bit like that, but I think, yeah, there was like an hour lag for local stations to get coverage in or something first before
Yeah,
they
I
would
think
pop them up on the NFL Plus app.
WWE Network was terrible if you weren't watching the pay-per-view the same day.
Oh yeah, it was
live.
like a next day thing, and like Hulu always does the next day thing, and
You don't even
Yeah.
want to know what it's like here.
oh god,
like-
I don't.
So some of the stuff was like 2 weeks behind, and then Raw and SmackDown aren't even on there. It's just highlights that are on there.
I mean, it's just
But they
so
can still
rare,
to go on there. So
and I get that they want. I've started trying to when I can watch wrestling live, just so I can interact a little bit better on social media sometimes, but. I watch, I travel a lot for work. I jump time zones a lot, and I DVR a lot of stuff on Sling, like all my AEW stuff. Even when I'm watching it live, I typically will watch the DVR recording as it's happening because then I can leave the room and pause. I can fast forward. Like I usually let it go 5 or 10 minutes before I start watching, and then I have 5 minutes of buffer to go through commercial breaks and stuff like that I don't care about. But yeah, man, in this day and age, I just have a lot of questions still about the Netflix thing, and I think it'll be exciting to see. All right, Byron, go do your job. I don't know if you guys know this, but Byron's some kind of like big TV producer who does editing and stuff. Like he's got a
tell them
real
the show I work on though.
Your show's good, right? You make your show as good as your show can be, right?
My show is successful.
Correct, and thusly so are you. And
I'm very thankful for it and all the people I work
who
with.
gives a shit about being good? It's all about getting paid.
Well, we have rent to pay in Biden's America, so
a lot of it. All right. Well, Meefloaf, thanks for joining, even though we know that you probably have to poop so bad right now because I didn't get that Pepto in the mail to you for 900 quid.
Yeah.
Me fire in a whole loaf.
Fire in the whole loaf. And Byron, fire crotch fever. We love you. Thank you so much for always putting your cats on Instagram because they are far more entertaining than you'll ever be. And I'm out looking for a job, and I might have some interesting things coming in that department that we'll talk about one of these days. So until next time, stay calm and stay in the mix.